everybody, it's Karen and I'm here today working with this beautiful new pack called Yours Truly from Echo Park. I love the versatility of the patterns in this particular paper pack. There's so much to work with. And I'm going to be showing you how to make this cute little penguin Valentine's card today with this beautiful paper pack. It's actually an easel card, so he's going to stand like this, and he's actually not finished. What I want to do today is show you just one part of the process, and that's to create just a little bit of a slider here so that we can hide a candy behind the penguin's little wings. So I'm going to show you how to create that and how to attach that to your easel card today. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is how I actually created the penguin shape for my card. He's really easy. He's just made up with some simple shapes that I wanted to share with you so you can recreate him if you'd like. The base of him is just an oval, so I just freehand drew an oval and I layered a white heart on top to kind of create that part. You'll notice his beak is also a heart shape, as are his wings and his little feet out the bottom here. So just by creating a few different sized heart shapes and layering them, we can actually get this cute little penguin shape. In order to determine the size that you're going to need, you need to choose some sort of candy or a candy bar. This is just a little Hershey bar. And you just need to make sure that that part is going to hide on his belly here. So you need to create him in proportion to that little candy. But it's really that simple. You can see I've just also attached him onto an easel here, and the easel card shape, and then I've just trimmed off the square top here just so that his head is kind of the only thing that we see when he stands up. I didn't want the square kind of shape behind him. So we're going to go ahead and make that slider now. I'll show you how that part's done. Okay, so let's talk about the materials that you'll need for this project. Once you've chosen your candy bar, you need to cut a piece of pattern paper that takes into account the dimensions of your little candy bar. So this little guy happens to be 1 inch wide and 2 inches tall. So I'm going to cut a piece of paper that is 3 inches in length. So you want to make sure that it's going to wrap all the way around. So if you take your dimensions and make sure that you've got 3 times that amount, you should be good. You also need some twine and some scissors. And then you're also going to need some adhesive to hold your sleeve in place and hold it closed, and then something to pierce a hole as well. Okay, so let's get into making the sleeve here. So I'm going to take my pattern piece of paper and turn it so that the wrong side is facing up. I'm just going to put my little candy right inside here, just about in the middle there. And I'm just going to pull up one of the edges so that it lines up with the one edge of my candy. So this is really easy. Now, you can see I'm not doing any measuring here. I'm not worrying about any of that. I'm just basically wrapping and making a nice little sleeve around the candy there. So once you kind of have it nice and snug, it really needs to be quite snug around your candy. You're just going to take some of your adhesive, and actually I think I'll use my bigger version of this glue pen, and get lots of adhesive on here because you don't want this to fall apart or come apart as your recipient is working with the sleeve. And then just make sure everything's lined up and just pull your piece of paper over. And now the sleeve is essentially complete. I'm just going to press this in place while the glue adheres a bit. And I'm just going to trim off the little bit of an extra edge that I've got here. There. And my sleeve is complete. That easy. Now, to create the sliding component, just take your candy bar right out for a moment, and then just press down, and about 1/4 of an inch from the top of your paper, I'm just going to use a little piercing mat here. It's actually just a mouse pad turned upside down. I'm just going to take my piercer, and about 1/4 of an inch from the top, right in the middle, I'm just going to poke a hole that goes through both the front and the back of this particular sleeve. So you can see that the piercer goes all the way through. Just make sure you've got a nice clean hole there. And now what I need to do is just cut a piece of twine that's going to act as the pulling component on the slider. And just rough measurements here, I'm just going to take about 2 times the length of my kind of the height here that I've created for my sleeve, and I'm just going to double that. That will give me lots to be able to slide with, create the slider, and also be able to tie. I'll just snip that off. And now here's the only tricky part of this process, and that's actually getting this twine through the hole that you've created. You don't want the hole to be too big on such a tiny little slider, so you might just have to kind of work a little bit harder to get the twine through there. You could also thread it through a needle if you wanted to. Here we go. I think I'm actually going to just use my piercer here and see if I can help my piercer just to push things through. Oh, there we go. That's working. So we'll just push the twine here through a little bit. One more time. There we go. I've got a little piece of the twine sticking up here, so I'm just going to pull that twine through. And then we're going to pull it through so that it's about halfway. You've got about half of the twine on each side of the little sleeve that you've created. Just pop that open, and all you're going to do is take your little candy and just slide it down. You can see that it's pulling the twine through. Mine isn't quite in the middle anymore, so I'm just going to pull this out again and make sure my twine is even. That's just going to make it so that it's just easier for me to tie. Okay, that looks a little bit better there. Okay, so I'm just going to tie the bow here at the top, and the bow is going to keep the candy bar in place. And it's also going to secure the mechanism so that your recipient can actually just pull upward on the bow to pull the candy out of the little wrapping paper that we've created here for the little gift, just like that. The next part is super easy. All you're going to do is take some adhesive and adhere this particular slider onto the card, and that part of the card is all ready and set to go. So I'm going to go ahead and finish decorating my little penguin and the rest of the easel card using this beautiful Echo Park Yours Truly paper. And I hope you'll join me over on the blog to see the finished result.